Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a handsome and valiant young king named Roman. King Roman was known throughout the land for his bravery and strength. In fact, he was so strong that he was said to be able to lift a full-grown ox over his head with ease. But despite his physical prowess, Roman was a humble and just ruler, always striving to do what was right for his people. One day, while out hunting in the nearby forest, Roman came across a wounded stag. Despite its massive size, the animal was struggling to free itself from a hunter's snare. Moved by pity, Roman carefully approached the struggling creature and swiftly cut it free. And as a reward for his kindness, the grateful stag offered to take Roman on a magical journey through the forest as a thank you gift. The king readily accepted the offer and soon found himself being led deeper and deeper into the heart of the woods. As they journeyed, the trees began to close in around them, forming a tunnel that blocked out the sun and plunged the forest into darkness. Startled by this sudden change, Roman drew his sword and prepared to fight his way out. However, the stag stopped him with a gentle nudge, urging him to calm down and trust in the animal's guidance. Following the stag's lead, Roman continued deeper into the dark woods, until they finally emerged into a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a magnificent castle made entirely of ice. It glittered and shimmered in the sunlight, its towering spires reaching towards the sky like jagged teeth. Astonished by the sight before him, Roman couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. He turned to the stag for an explanation, but the animal only shook its head and disappeared into the trees, leaving Roman to explore the icy castle on his own. Cautiously, the king approached the castle and pushed open the heavy oak doors. Inside, he found himself in a vast and echoing hall. The walls were decorated with intricate carvings of mythical beasts, and the floor was paved with polished marble. As he ventured further into the castle, he heard the sound of soft music and the murmur of voices, and as he rounded a corner, he came face to face with the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. She sat on a throne made of pure gold, her eyes sparkling like diamonds, and her hair cascading down her shoulders like a waterfall. As she turned to face him, Roman could see that she was adorned with jewelry made of precious gems, and that her flowing gown was embroidered with silver thread. But it wasn't just her beauty that captivated Roman. There was something about the woman's presence that drew him in, as if she were calling to him across a vast distance. And then she spoke, her voice like the tinkling of bells. "Welcome, Roman," she said. "I have been expecting you." Startled by her words, Roman could only manage a stammered greeting. "How is it possible that you knew my name?" he asked. The woman smiled mysteriously and gestured for him to sit on a nearby throne. "You have a kind heart, Roman," she said, "and a strong spirit. These are the qualities that I have been searching for in a husband." Roman blushed at her words, suddenly realizing that he had never actually seen the woman's face. She had been shrouded in mist for as long as he could remember, but now, as he looked into her shimmering eyes, he felt an overwhelming sense of love and devotion. And without even knowing her name, he knew that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. "Will you marry me, Roman?" she asked, holding out her hand. Overwhelmed with emotion, the king reached out and took her hand in his. "Yes," he whispered, 1,000 times. "Yes." And as their hands touched, a blinding flash of light filled the room, and when Roman opened his eyes, he found himself standing in the forest with a beautiful woman by his side. The stag was nowhere to be seen, but in the clearing where the icy castle had stood, there was now a small cottage surrounded by a garden, filled with flowers. The woman took Roman's hand and led him to the cottage, where a fire was roaring merrily in the hearth, and two elderly figures sat waiting for them. "Grandfather, grandmother," the woman said, "this is Roman, the man I am to wed." The old couple beamed at the king and beckoned for him to sit down. We knew you would choose wisely, my dear, the grandmother said, smiling. Roman is a brave and noble king. He will make you very happy. The king blushed at their words, still in awe of how he had come to be in this enchanted place. The wedding was held the following day, and it was unlike any other celebration that Roman had ever seen. The guests were a mix of humans and mythical creatures, all drawn to the clearing by the promise of magic and wonder. The bride wore a gown that shimmered like starlight, and the groom looked dashing in his finest robes. As they exchanged vows, the old couple stood by, ready to bestow a special gift upon the newlyweds. We have watched over you both for many years, the grandfather said, his voice booming like thunder, and we are pleased to see you together at last. Here is a token of our love. With that, the old couple presented the king and queen with a small wooden box. Curiosity etched on Roman's face as he opened the box. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvet, was a ring. It was crafted from a single emerald, surrounded by smaller diamonds that glittered like stars. The ring pulsed with a strange energy as Roman picked it up, and he could feel the power of the forest coursing through his veins. This ring, the old couple said in unison, is a symbol of your union and a reminder of the love that brought you together. As long as you wear it, you will be blessed with good fortune and the favor of the forest. Overjoyed, Roman slipped the ring onto his queen's finger, where it fit perfectly, as if it had been made for her specifically. The celebration continued late into the night with dancing and feasting, and as the stars twinkled overhead, the king and queen shared a kiss under the old oak tree. It was a perfect ending to a perfect day. From that moment on, Roman and his queen ruled over their kingdom with wisdom and compassion. They were known throughout the land as the Emerald King and Queen, a title bestowed upon them by their subjects who marveled at their love story and the mysterious power that bound them together. Their reign was prosperous and peaceful, and they were blessed with many children, each one more beautiful than the last. But perhaps the greatest gift of all was the love and devotion that they shared. For in each other, the king and queen had found a soulmate, a partner who understood them in ways that no one else could. And as the years passed, their love only grew stronger, proving that the bond they had forged in the enchanted clearing was truly a love story for the ages. And so, the tale of Roman and his queen was passed down through generations, a timeless story of love, magic, and the power of the human spirit. And whenever the Emerald King and Queen were mentioned, the people of the kingdom would look up to the stars and whisper, "May their love story forever be written in the stars."